Hello everyone, this is Grace of gbmaltese, and I am going to show you how I'm going to seal my pencil box, whatever you want to call it. I've done this side, and as you can see, these are not going to come off. I can open this box up and not worry about them coming off. I'm going to do the other side for you today so you can see what I used. And let me show you right now what I used. I'm using UV resin. I purchased this large bottle. It was in this box. It is by Decorum, and it was $22.99, and it came next day shipping for me. I also purchased a UV light. You can cure your pieces in the sunlight, but I didn't want to wait. It says right here on how to use it. If you're using it with a light like I have, it takes 2 to 4 minutes. If you're exposing it to sunlight, it can take 5 to 20 minutes. And it depends on how cold the day is. You could also put it in like your windowsill where the sun is beaming down on it. It's just going to take a little longer. And I'm not the most patient person in the world, I guess. I'm going to turn this light away so when I turn it on, it is kind of covered, but I don't want any light to accidentally even get in mine or your eyes. Okay, now the gloves I wear when I'm using resin is nitrile, because the stuff is very sticky. I also do epoxy resin. I like this for these. It is very quick, and I can get a thinner coat. Now this is what I'm going to do. I have some silicone brushes. That's what I use, because you can use them over and over and over and over. Very easy to clean up. You just wipe it off. If silicone dries on it, it is going to peel right off. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here, and I'm going to spread it around with my silicone brush. I do not want it going off the edge there. So I'm just going to do it all around in here. On my big stones, I'm just going to go around the edges of it. I'm not going to put it on the top of it, because what this is doing is just holding your stones in place. You don't want them falling off. And as you can see, it also gives it a glass-like finish. So you're just going to go through and get it on there. Notice it spreads very easily with this. You could use a very cheap, you could go to the dollar store and get very cheap paintbrushes, and I just would toss them when I was finished using them, because that resin is, you have probably felt tree sap. That's kind of what this resin is like. It's so sticky. That's what it reminds me of. And you don't want that getting on your skin. You don't want this on your skin. I'll come in a little bit closer so maybe you can see a little better what I'm doing. Let's see if I can bring it in just a tad bit. Okay? I'm just going around here. You can also squeeze this onto a piece of parchment paper. I've done that too. And I would just pick up a little bit like that and take it to where I want it. You can just kind of scoop it up. I'm just going to take it all along in here. And like I said, I'm just going to go in between the big stones, because it's just going to, it's kind of like going to glue them down. Well, if you go over the top, it's not going to be that big a deal. I'm just going to wipe it off because I don't want it on there. So if you put it on the top, you can just take something and wipe it off. This is not going to cure and get hard until you put it in UV light. So you can keep working with this and doing this until you have it done. So I'm just going to go ahead and squirt some on there and go to town on this a little bit quicker. And the places I don't want it, I'm just going to wipe it off. I can use a paper towel, whatever, because I'm going to wipe it off the tops of the bigger stones. it spreads quite easily, as you can see. It's very thin. So I'm just going to take my finger and just kind of wipe the tops of the big stones off. Just kind of blot it with my paper towel also. Like I said, I just want it in between, because that way your stones are going to keep their shine better. I'm not going to worry about the smaller ones. That doesn't bother me for them to look glassy. The bigger ones, I just like to go around the outsides of them. Okay, I'm going to go off camera and finish doing this. I think you have the idea of what I'm doing, and then before I put it in to the UV lamp, I'll be right back. Okay, I have finished spreading it around, and this is what it looks like. And now I am going to put one end into the lamp, and then I'll turn it around and put the other end, and I'm going to set it for 60 seconds. And while I'm waiting, I have done one side of this keychain. I did this the other day. And while I'm waiting, I can do the other side of this keychain. So that's one thing I like about this, is that you can be waiting for it to dry, or waiting for it to harden in the light, and then you can work on something else. So I'll just show you a few things while I'm talking to you. When you have this, it smooths out very easily with this. And if you don't have this, like I said, you could use something else. You could even use a toothpick. I have a toothpick here that I could use to go into some of these smaller areas. I want to move it around. Right in there. You notice I poured it out where the smaller stones are, so that I can kind of, and you saw the light go out. I know it needs for 2 minutes for that. I'm going to push it one more time. Well, you couldn't see it, I'm sorry. Let me move this back a little bit where you can kind of see my light, but I don't want it facing you. But I'll show it to you in a minute. And I'm going to just move this around, and I don't have to rush because this is not going to harden like your epoxy resin does. So you can see I'm just using this toothpick. It smooths out easily also. And I can just get rid of the toothpick later. I have a whole box full of them. So you can also use skewers, like wooden skewers, or just about anything, just to push the resin around is what you're doing, to try to get it in all the places you want it to go. It's working kind of like a glue. Okay, I'm going to pull you out so you'll be able to see. The light went off again, so you can kind of see what's going on here. Now I'm going to pull this out and just take a look at it. Now when you take this out, this is going to be hot. When resin cures, it gets very hot, even epoxy resin. But this is what it looks like right now. I need to go ahead and put it in to get the other side done. And then we'll take a look and see if it is, it feels like it's hardened there. So I'm going to put this side in. Not sure if you can see me do that. But that's, I don't think you're going to see that. Okay, I put that in there like that, and then I'm going to turn it on. Okay, the light shouldn't be in your eyes at all. It's not in mine. I'm standing up here doing this. So I'm just going to move this around. Like I said, while you're waiting for your one piece to go off, you can be working on another piece and just kind of have an assembly line going on. So I really enjoy using this. And you do not have to have a UV light. You can get them all prices. I got one that was a little more expensive because I'm planning on doing more than just this with my resin. I want to do some like resin jewelry and magnets and different things. So I have some other things planned, so I decided to go ahead and get a bigger lamp. You do need at least a 36 watt UV lamp to do this. Now I'm just brushing. Okay, the light went out. I'm going to push it one more time so that it can do it for its 2 minutes, and then we'll check it. And I'm going to just wipe the tops of the big stones off when I get finished. I'm just not being real careful. I'm just putting it on there. Just going all around these edges. I'm going to get these little edge pieces real good. Because even if it grabs it on one end, it's going to hold it pretty darn good. So that when that dries, it dries hard. It dries very hard. And it gives it a glass-like finish. But I'm going to just take my finger and do like this right there. And then I'm also going to take this paper towel. I'm going to kind of dab at the tops of these big ones that are sticking up. Just wiping the tops of those off. Very easy to do. And I do have a silicone mat, and when this resin dries on here, it'll just peel right off. So a silicone mat. All of these things I purchased on Amazon. And I do put links to things in my Amazon store that I put below my videos, so that if there's anything you're wondering what I use, you can find it in there, so that I don't have to try to remember everything that I've talked about. And I can make a few pennies off of it if you click from that link. If you don't want to purchase from that link, that's fine. But at least it lets you know what it is that I used. Okay, that went off. And let's get up a little closer. Let's see. I think we got it pretty good in there. Let's look on this side. So you can just hold it in your hand. Okay, I got a piece of dried resin there, probably off of my mat. You could do this with epoxy resin. Epoxy resin takes a lot longer to dry, and it gets very sticky when you're using it. You have a certain amount of time that you have to work with it. Okay, I'm going to put that in to cure while we look at this. So I'm going to take this and just stick it in there and turn my light on. I'm going to take my gloves off so I can feel if this box feels like it's not dry all the way. Okay, it's still a little tiny bit sticky, so I'm going to put it in there for another minute. Just to, also, if your things do stay sticky, you can clean them off with, I get 91% alcohol to clean things with. That's what when you're using resin, use alcohol to clean your things with. And it will also take the stickiness off. But look at the box. Isn't it pretty? I just love the way it came out. And the thing is, you're not going to have to worry about your stones falling off. Okay. I'm going to take that out because I want to put this back in for another minute. Let's look at this. This is probably still sticky because I just did it for a minute. But you kind of see what this looks like. It looks pretty good. I'm going to come back when I finish getting these done and show it to you. Okay, and I'm back, and these are finished. Okay, here is the keychain. Both sides are sealed. You need to, they will be completely and fully sealed in about 24 hours to be, as you know, harder. Okay, and here is the box. You don't have to worry about these stones falling off. You can now use this box without those worries. Again, give it some time to finish completely curing, but it comes out so pretty. This is the kind of alcohol I use. I was kind of cleaning up some of my areas. If you get resin on your hands, it's sticky, use this. Soap and water won't do you any good. And I use that to clean this little brush off. Again, this is what I used. Would I use this on a big diamond painting? No, that would be too expensive. If you want to use resin on a large one, and I've done a video on that, but I've learned a lot more about resin and would do it a little differently. I might update that one. But epoxy resin is cheaper, the 2-part. But I think they look really nice. And now I'm not going to have to worry about any of this falling off. That is the main thing that I have worried about. So if you have any questions or concerns about any of this, please put your comments below. There are some places that you can order. You might be able to get this cheaper. I'm going to be looking around. $22.99 really is not too bad. I've looked at some that was more expensive, but it does it very quickly. And the bigger bottles, it's actually cheaper than if you buy the really small ones. It seems to go down in price, but I wasn't sure how I was going to like this. But I'm going to look around and see. There is a place called Miniature Sweets, I believe, .com, and it's either in Japan or China. And I'm going to check their prices out, and I can let you know more about that later. But let me know what you think about how these came out. Is this something that you would want to try? Again, like I said, you could put this in a windowsill. The only thing that I would worry about is dust or something getting it before it was cured. And it has to be uncovered. You can't put anything to cover it. It has to be open. So, I just like the light, and you can find them very cheaply. Like I said, I got a more expensive one because I'm going to use it for more things. Anyway, tell me what you think, and I will be talking to you guys later. I hope you're having a blessed day, and take care of each other, and tell your loved ones you love them. We don't know how long we've got. Thanks a lot for watching. Love you guys. Bye.